Hi, kids. It's Martyr. It's been a minute, hasn't it? We're so sorry for the delay. We got wrapped up in the glams and losing to Monet Exchange and Lady Bunny, but we're not here to talk about that. um, we're here to introduce a two-part episode. What? I know. What a nice Valentine's Day surprise for you. We're doing a first part this week and a second part next week with our lovely guest, Miss Junior Mint. Um, we thought it was such a disservice not to let her speak her whole truth and have basically an unedited episode for you because Junior had said such lovely and such affirming things in this interview. It's honestly quite amazing, and it was such a joy to have her. So I'm very excited for you to listen to Miss Junior Mint. I hope you enjoy. Bye.
Wig, did you just say wig?
Wig, okay.
I know, wig. I feel that already.
Wig, okay.
Wig, did you just say wig?
Wig, okay.
I am ready for my wig to go flying.
Hi, kids.
Hello.
We're doing a late January edition.
Oh yeah, it is. I don't even know when this is coming up.
Yeah, I think like
late January.
late January, early Feb. We're having a late start to the year.
Oh, it's going to be February 1st, probably.
Oh, perfect, beautiful. Love that for us.
Welcome.
Black History
welcome.
Month.
Yes,
exactly.
we totally
Um,
planned this.
Well, I'm Martyr.
I'm C Temper.
And this is Wig It Up. Woo.
Yes.
We have a very special guest today. I'm very excited about them. But Caitlin, who are we talking to today? Who are we doing?
So I was like, I think she's too big for our show.
I agree.
But I was like, everyone's like, no, y'all can get her. You can get her on. So we got Miss Junior Mint.
Woo. Welcome,
Oh my
Junior.
God. Just so happy to be here.
Yay.
Never too big for anybody. I'm just another person.
No,
Just
you're
another
too
bitch
big
out
for
here.
me.
You're such a
Yes.
sweetheart. Thank you for so much for talking to us tonight.
Yeah, we're so excited. So I was hanging out with a bunch of our previous guests earlier today, and when I told them who was on, they were so excited.
Oh,
They are
that's an
pumped.
honor. There's no better compliment than like somebody hearing your name and thinking and feeling something positive. So
Yeah,
I'm
everyone's
happy.
like
Thank you.
all about it. So
Thank you.
I'm sure everyone's really excited you're here. I'm excited.
I'm excited too.
So I thought we could retire this question in 2022.
You thought.
And girl, I could not retire this fucking question. I'm very sad about it. What has your pandemic been like?
Well, it's been like I always say that like as a Black trans person, my life is already chaotic,
Pandemic.
tumultuous. Exactly. Every single day I walk out on the street, I don't know if I'm gonna make it back.
Mm.
I don't know. And so it has been honestly like, more anxieties added on top of it.
Mm.
But my blood pressure is still at the same level it's usually at. It's like, just another day. Cause at the end of the day, I'm like also one of the primary caregivers for my mom. So like, if anything, that was one of the hardest parts because she lives in DC.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's kind of like the hardest part because she's old and she has a compromised immune system. And so just making sure that she's okay and she has everything that she needs is more like the biggest stressor. But honestly, my community's always been there for me and they were there for me during the pandemic. And I know if I need to launch a GoFundMe, they'll be there for me with that too. But everything has been pretty as stable as can be, as stable as everything can be in this time. But otherwise, the optimist in me is just, I woke up. So we're all doing good. We're doing good. I woke up. That's
that,
the hardest
Martyr?
step of it all.
Yeah.
It's gonna be an inspirational podcast for
I
Martyr
know.
today.
I'm already so inspired listening to you. You have such a joy just talking just about life. I love it. Love it so much. Your array of positivity so far.
Oh, thank you.
So you talked about your mom in DC. Where are you from originally?
Well, I always say I'm like from all up and down the East Coast because I was born in Philly at in Temple, then raised a bunch in like Southern Jersey, Camden County, Winslow Township, like all of that area, Southern Jersey. It was like at the time, like the area had like the highest murder rate per capita. And so
Mm-hmm.
it was like that type of experience. But growing up, my mom just did such a beautiful experience of like never letting us even realize that like there were issues going on in our house, like how we didn't have money and all these different things. So my dad left when I was like 9 or 10, and then that caused our family to go into bankruptcy. And so then we moved around a bunch, DC, Maryland, um, um, New York for a little bit, and then a little bit of Delaware, and then family all up and down the coast. And then we ended up with my aunt in DC permanently. And that's where like I spent my teenage years really, like late middle school and high school. And that was interesting because like I where in DC there is no good public education because
It's not a
yeah,
state.
exactly. So
Yeah.
like the people who run the budget are the people who live in like some of the highest, most wealthy counties in the country are Loudoun County and Fairfax County, which are right outside of DC, which is where all the Congress people live, which is where like if you look up Forbes like highest high schools, it's always like the top 10 are always schools in that area. And DC has no good schools. The classroom that they actually tried to have be my homeroom actually had like a hole in the floor, like where you could see the classroom below, and there was like just tape around it where you just don't step into it and don't fall to your death. And like my mom basically was like, "You're not going to school there. We're not doing that."
Thank God.
So, what my mom did, like a horrible crime, which is like not actually a crime, but fuck the system, because what she did was she lied about our address so that way I could go to school in Maryland.
Oh,
And
that's so
like
good.
went to an amazing school. Only reason I went to like a fantastic college was because of that theater department, and I wouldn't have found it anywhere else. And like, but the hard part was it was like 2.5 hours for me to get there each day. So it was
Wow.
like getting up at 5:30, then like you walk 10 minutes, catch a bus, then you catch a train, transfer trains, transfer to a bus, transfer to another bus, and then walk. And so like I didn't really have a high school life. It really wasn't like any hanging out because it was like I'd be in drama all day, and then the next thing you know, it'd be too late for me to go hang because I'd have to get home. And so once I graduated there, I went to Emerson College in Boston.
Oh, that's a very good school.
Oh my God. It's the main reason why like all of my like art is kind of what it is because like me discovering who I was as an artist was me discovering it in a like primarily white liberal arts institution in Boston where it's majority white and majority wealthy. And so like black people at the school made up less than 1% of the population. So like
Wow.
we fit into a room. And then I was also an RA for 3.5 years. And so I was also like in the administration and at Emerson College during the time when I was there. That's when all of the Title IX and sexual assault allegations were coming out and the mishandling of the allegations. And so like they're like literally my first year there, my first year being an RA, their like Dateline featured 3 different colleges, and it was like the breakthrough documentary about Title IX cases, and Emerson was one of them because people were mishandling these sexual assault allegations in these cases. And so like I came into being an RA into that climate and became an artist into that climate and being like one of a handful of black people in the department. I was the first black person I studied scenic design, and I was the first black person in the technical design major in at least 10 years. Nobody remembered the last time there was a black student in the program. And even when I was like, they took everybody's photograph for like every freshman class. Like our freshman class was like 14 people, and that was like the largest class they had in a while. And so like we all stood in front of this purple wall, and they took our photo to like so that way like they could print it out, and all the professors could like identify faces with names, and they'd write your name above your face so they could like be like, okay, this is this person and everything. But what they failed to do, because I was the first black person in the program in a long time, was they failed to print it out in color. So they printed it out against the dark black, like the wall was dark purple. So literally you couldn't see any of me. And professors wrote my name in above blackness. Like it was just like where my face would be, they wrote above it in marker my name. And it was the type of thing like you couldn't print it in color. You couldn't just go and get it printed in color after you saw that I wasn't, things like that.
Oh my God.
And
Doesn't surprise me, unfortunately.
And the bitch paid a lot of money for that experience.
Yeah. Right.
Who's the fool? I played myself. And then after that, graduated, moved to New York, and have been here ever since.
Can relate to you about being featured in the documentary, or FSU was as well, I believe. Also an RA at that school. So I feel you.
Oh my
God.
God.
It was, never before had I realized how needed my voice was.
That's I feel like you definitely found your voice very quickly there, probably.
And on top of it, this was like my freshman year at college was the whole Trayvon Martin case. And so it was like literally like going to the streets and marching, and like, yeah, it was a wild experience, and it taught me a lot about myself and a lot about like really all of my life, my history, my legacy, my lineage, all the things.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. What a time, those 4 years.
Jeez. What year would this be around?
2013 to 2017.
Okay, I got you.
And then as soon as I graduated, I left that summer.
Yeah. Good for you. How did you end up in New York?
Well, I studied scenic design at college, and it took me to New York because I was apprenticing off Broadway for designers and theatrical companies like Second Stage and New York City Center and stuff like that. And so I was doing that, and I literally like, I knew I was moving here. I was like, before I even had anything lined up, I was like, no, your girl needs to get out of Boston. But literally as everything was lining up with the apartment, that's when everything lined up with like me assisting designers. And like, I did a whole apprentice. The first thing I did here was my apprenticeship at Second Stage. And that was like, it was the first time I ever really was like, okay, so like, this is what it's like to just exist as a person, not in college, not as a child, just existing and being respected and being taken seriously. And one of the helpful things was that like Emerson, I was like, I worked like 5 jobs all at the same time, like being an RA, being a scenic designer, like assisting and doing actual gigs in Boston, doing designs for like class and like actual productions at school. Then I was also like the RA at the welcome desk. I also was a master carpenter in the scene shop and a scenic painter as well on the paint deck. And so like I had all of these positions of authority being my feminine ass self, not even necessarily knowing myself as trans, but like just being me as a femme human being. And it was so great because I think about it now and I'm like, so many people had to literally take orders, directions, instructions from me. And it makes me so happy to know that like, without me realizing it, they had already experienced like Black trans excellence and Black trans power without even knowing it. And to this day, professors will still reach out to me just to check in and see how I'm doing and everything, because they like, yeah, they remember me and they love me and they remembered like, honestly, I taught a lot of the people at that school a lot of different things. And like down to the fact that even for every loaded and everything for theater, when you're building the set and taking it down, they did, because of my hair, they didn't have any hard hats that could actually fit my head. And so literally it was either like I had to either plan my hairstyle out like 2 days in advance to fit the hard hat, or I just had to not do the activities that required hard hats and things like that, where it was like, and making people realize that these are institutional issues that need to be changed. And to this day, they still don't have hard hats that fit pitches with my hair. And that's like in the real world as well. That's like
definitely.
Apprenticing at Second Stage. You're there and you're like, and what hard hat am I supposed to use? But welcome to my life.
Yep.
But like Maya Angelou said, still I rise, bitch.
That's right.
Look at what, and I'm here.
That's right.
And you're here.
How did you get from, so I actually have also a very similar background because I did technical theater as well, but how did you end up from behind the scenes into in front of the scenes?
Well, it's like I I started watching Drag Race at like season 8, and that was Bob the Drag Queen,
That's right.
and Bob the Drag Queen was like just everything. Like was the person who I was like I would want to do that. Like if I did drag, that's the type I would do. Like all around just being yourself, but also being everything at the same time. And it always resonated with me. And then as time went, like as an RA, I would host programs on my floor every week to view Drag Race, and then we'd have conversations around queer politics and what was going on in our lives as queer people, and basically check-ins as queer people. And then when I graduated, of course, moved to New York, want to see drag shows, want to do all these things, and I kind of was just completely underwhelmed because. And
where were you going?
That was the thing. That was the thing. Because I was mainly in Manhattan. I was, because that's the thing. Because nobody, there was no guide. There was no like, here's the great places to go.
If only you knew me at the time.
But actually, because I came here looking for Paris is Burning, and I found a lukewarm Berlin. Like all of that.
Please use that as her
Oh, I
title.
Oh my god, I hear you though. Oh my god.
And it was like seeing all these performances. I remember and the wildest circle, like full circle moment of my life in drag was because in Boston also, when I turned 21, because I was too scared to ever get a fake. I was like, I look like a child. Y'all are gonna figure out this is a fake. And even when I like got my real ID, people at bars would still try to take it and say that it was fake because I looked so young. And so I was like, let me not even play. But when I could go to drag shows, there was out of Boston, there's 3 like drag bars, and that's like out of 4 queer bars, like 3 of those will have drag. And there was like each one has a different scene. One was very collegey, one was very like adult white gay who wants to see a show, and then there was like the theater gay one. Because it was closer to my campus, I would always go to Club Cafe, which was like the adults white gay out. And I found at my first show there that I saw a performer who I was like entranced by because it's majority white. So all of the cast is white except for one amazing performer named Uni Neptune, who's Asian American.
Yes.
We stand. And then there's this amazing performer who took my breath away, who I got to, of course, meet later on and like really connect and have a sisterhood with, is Neon Calypso.
That's right.
I saw Neon Calypso and she was just, it was like that moment where you're like, this bitch is the star. Why is this bitch in Boston? Get this bitch to New York.
I said that for a very long time.
And she literally, had a conversation with me after one of the shows because I was just telling her how amazing she was and how like I always thought about doing drag, and she was like, do it. Just do it. And she was telling me about how like people will try to tell you to be something else, to do something that doesn't feel right to you, and don't do it. Just be true to who you are. And it's like she is one of those people who like, when I was doubting myself as to whether I should start, I immediately was like, I can do it. Neon said I could do it. Neon said I could. And as I was seeing all these shows, I was like, none of this is hitting. I need to be the performer that I want to see on these stages. And I did, and I thought about it, and I saw a flyer for it was called Hot Mess at House of Yes, and it was this open drag, and it was just like, you just see a flyer. It's not like, because even when you see flyers for drag competitions, it's not like you don't want to do it if it's your first time, because it's not like this is for beginners. This is for like people who have been doing it. So I was like, this will be great. It'll just be a one-off, whatever. And it was funny because a bunch of my friends were like, no, Ju, you're like, you need to do this. You were like meant to do this. You are amazing. And I was always so terrified and self-conscious of myself to ever be on the stage. I never thought I was entertaining or like visually appealing to even look at. And so literally I was like, okay, let me do this number. I made this whole mix. I was like ready, Donna Summer, hot, Bad Girls. When I tell you, literally I'm preparing and everything, got this whole number together. And I'm standing on the stage it was a open competition and everything. Standing behind the stage, the curtain is happening. Madam Vivian V is on the mic and she is like about to introduce me. And she sees this woman in the audience who is just like going crazy. And she's like, do you know who's performing next? And she goes, yes, yes, yes. That is one of my best friends. I love her so much. She is amazing. You're going to lose your mind. You're not ready. And then literally about a video goes, well, I feel like you could introduce her better than I could, and gives her the mic and pulls her up on stage to introduce me my first time. And it was like one of those moments where like when one of your best friends, her name is Emma, she's an icon and a legend, with someone who you love so much is like telling all these people about how amazing you are and how they're not ready for what they're going to see and how phenomenal you are. All of my anxiety went away and I was like, okay, bitch, just enjoy it and serve it, and you will just be the bad bitch that you see in your head. Be the bad bitch that you see in your head. And while I did not win that competition, two amazing things happened. One, I got booked for 2 different gigs because of that one performance. And I've been literally booked ever since. And then the other thing was, after my performance, my whole number was about basically white people telling Black people to shut up. And it was a whole mix about it. And these 3 40-year-old Black women who all have the same birthday were celebrating their 40th birthday at House of Yes at this drag competition. They ran up to, I know it's the wildest thing. They ran up to me and they go, we were just so entranced. We just have to let you know that this is the first time that we ever felt like we heard somebody talking about our perspective on a stage. And literally it was that moment where it was like, well, I know I always have to, like, it made me realize why I ever even wanted to do it, which is really connection, just to like say how I felt and to have my community, the people who felt the same as me, say, yes, bitch. Yes, bitch. Thank you for saying what you said. And yeah, that was like my real transition into it. And the only reason I even signed up was really because the designer I was assisting, her name is Danya Worrell, an icon, one of the few women to win a Tony Award for scenic design. She literally, I was building a model for her at New York City Center, right? I'm building this model in the theater. And she just looks at me and goes, you know, you don't want to do this, right? And I was like, what? Like, I paid a lot of money to do this specific thing.
Yeah.
And she just goes, the only thing you talk about with joy and with passion is drag. You need to do that. And then literally that same day, I saw the flyer for Hot Mess on my Instagram. And I was like, I think.
That's fate, baby.
The stars align.
Fate.
Come on, come on. The universe wanted me in this.
Mm-hmm.
How did you come up with your drag name?
Well, my name out of drag is Junior. And growing up, everybody like, so my first name is Tyrone. My middle name is Junior. But I have 2 older brothers and their names are Tyrone and Tyrone. And my dad is Tyrone as well. And so like we all went by our middle names basically.
That makes sense.
You say one of us and all of us show up.
Yeah.
It's like all we heard was the Roan. And so here we are. And so really. And so everybody called me Junior. I love my name. And every time I ask somebody like, could you ever imagine me with a different name? They were always like, no, Junior like fits you so perfectly. Like you have a very unique voice that I can't, like, not mistakable for anybody else. You have a unique presence. And so I was like, okay, work. And when I came to drag, I was like, I can't imagine a different name for me. Like I couldn't imagine. I was like, Lulu, Amanda, like Anna, like I couldn't think of anything that like really fit me. And so I was like, okay, I want to stick with Junior. And then it hit me that growing up, my mom called me her little Junior Mint because Junior Mints are one of her favorite candies. And it's like at the movies, always the candy we go to. And anytime we would walk into like a Wawa or a 7-Eleven, she would like, look, it's you Mints. Anytime we saw Junior Mints. And so when I finally came up with it, I was like, I think I'm Junior Mint. And for a while, I balanced between Junior Mint and Junior High because I smoke a lot of weed. I know, right? And then I was like, imagine a gig where it's like Junior High talent show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
Junior High presents High School Musical. Junior High School Musical.
It'd be kind of iconic, though.
I know, right? I know. But we landed on Junior Mint. And as soon as I said it to my mom, she was like, chocolate in your mouth, minty going down. And so that's always been my tagline.
How'd you end up with the 2 T's?
Copyright.
That's right.
You don't want to get
smart.
sued. I support.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I immediately went because if there's one thing that's really helpful with doing the business of drag, it was like having all the knowledge from college of how to freelance as an artist. Because immediately when I was like, what do I want my name to be? After I looked up Junior Mint, I was like, let me go into the so when you're doing business as a like an entity, you can literally apply for an application called DBA, which is code for doing business as. And there's a whole program you can go and type in any name and see if someone else has that already and is doing business as it. They already had the trademark for Junior Mint with 1 T, but they did not have 2 T's. And I was like, bitch, double the T, double the flavor, double the trans. Okay.
That's right.
Oh, T.
Tantalizing.
It reminds me a little bit of Patrick Star with the 2 R's, because I always wondered how they were able to like have like an empire with that name.
An empire.
I feel like it is, and I feel like you have an empire too, which I want to definitely talk about. So how did you like get into doing your own business, being a makeup connoisseur?
Well, I'm so thankful for my friends, all of my success, basically every single thing that I have really leaned into and understood about myself, I only understand because my friends pointed it out to me. Like, if it wasn't for my loved ones and my friends being like, bitch, you're funny, talk on the mic, I would never have hosted. Literally, thank God for Rah Rah Darling, because without them, like, they were the person who was like, would you want to host a show? Because they were like, you're so infectious. People would love to see you talk. Like, do it. Same thing with makeup. Literally, it was somebody who literally told me, like, do you know how like you really kind of glow when you put on makeup, and you really have a way of like accentuating your beauty with your makeup? And it was the thing that made me realize that the thing that I love the most about makeup is when you get to take it off. Because for me, the reason I realized I was trans was because at the end of the night, I'd be so emotional taking my makeup off, because it'd be the only time I give myself permission to feel like a woman and identify as a woman. And that moment of realizing that through the transformation of makeup, you can realize so much about yourself when you take it off, is my like most thankful realization I've ever had in my life. Because every time I put on makeup, it makes me remember why I love to do it for me outside of it. Because as I'm like, do I want to do like a Star Trek ass eyebrow giving you Vulcan? Do I like, what do I want to do? Do I want to try to give you Princess Peach today? Like, what part of myself am I going to call on outside of this makeup to inspire who I want to be in this phase? And literally a friend of mine pointed that out during pandemic. Literally, we were sitting down just like catching up and just like trying to get through this pandemic. And they were like, what do you want to do with like your career and everything? Because yes, you're a performer, but like, what else do you want to do with it in terms of like a product? Because they have a whole degree of marketing and all of that. So they were like, you also can like easily be making supplemental income, because they know about me and my mom, supporting my mom and everything. And they were like, you could start a business and you easily could do a lot of things. Like, is there anything you're passionate about? And the only thing I could think of was makeup. I was just like, the only thing I know that if somebody was like, what would you want a gift card to? Get me a gift card to Ulta Beauty, honey, so I can go and get me some good ass makeup at an affordable ass price, because ain't nobody got time for Sephora. All I do is, honey, I have not paid for a thing from Sephora in 4 years, but I've been up in Sephora. Let's just say it that way. Let's just say it that way, okay? Because 5-figure discount, reclaiming, fuck capitalism. But where was I? Oh, yes. So I was about to go on a whole capitalism monologue. But literally they were talking to me about like, well, what would you want to create? And I said makeup, but I was like, gotta wait for the point where like I know how to do it, do all these things and jump through these hoops. And they were like, you can just do it now. Why don't you just do it now? And I'm so thankful for the loved ones in my life, because they're the people who are like the ones who make you realize that you have the power to do anything that you want right the hell now. Like, this podcast could not exist. Y'all could have kept putting it off for another week or another month until this thing is right or that thing is right. But no, it's realizing that you can do the goddamn thing right the fuck now.
That's right.
And they made me realize it, and we're like, let's sit down and if you have any questions, I can help answer them, but like, you can do it. And so literally they basically just were like, let me know if you have any questions. They help me a lot with the like images and configuring everything, but like really everybody has the resources to figure out how to reach out to a manufacturer, how to sift through manufacturers, how to figure out what is right for you in terms of your pay scale, in terms of like how much you have to actually invest in your product, and how to actually navigate manufacturers, good manufacturers, bad manufacturers, navigating good color palettes and good color choices for skin tones, and actually like doing the work, because most of the time it was me sitting down just like at a computer thinking, because it's like I picked out all the colors very, very specifically after like, okay, you get one round of samples, the samples come in. Okay, let me swatch these, see how these work. Oh no, let me give this to a friend now. Because it was a lot of footwork on my own goddamn behalf because I was passionate about it. And it was like having my different friends try it out, because I wanted to try it out on all different skin tones. I wanted to make sure that it worked for everybody, to make sure that this is something that anybody could pick up and use and be like, this isn't a waste of my money. Now, instead of getting the meal, I wanted to have a palette I can't use. And yeah, it was a long journey of a lot of hard work, but because it was in the pandemic when I created it, it gave me a lot of free time to work on it. So it came together in like a matter of 3-4 months, what could have been a year.
Wow. Because I know makeup takes a very long time to produce.
It takes so long, because the hardest part is like finding the manufacturer, because each manufacturer is different in terms of what they offer and the quality of what they offer. Because like just on the back end of like looking at things, it's like some manufacturers will make amazing matte pigments, but then when it comes to shimmers, can't do that, and it's horrible. And so you have to find somebody who can do everything that you want and need, because on top of it, you get another manufacturer, that's more shipping from a different place in order to get. So welcome to the rigmarole of being a businesswoman.
That's right.
But it is a journey that I'm so thankful for, because every time I see a palette and I see somebody wearing a face that they put on from it, it gets me emotional, because it's like you are finding value and purpose in something that I created to find value and purpose in myself. So it's like healing for everybody, and I'm so thankful for it.
I think you have 2 customers here. I wore your lip kit to Bushwig. So
oh my god, I'm honored.
Well, I knew about the eyeshadow palette, but I've been like suffering because they kind of discontinued matte lips from like ColourPop and stuff. Yes. And I'm like, oh no, it's not a thing anymore. But if you like work in any sort of nightlife, anything, you need matte. Like you need a matte lip.
That part.
I was like, oh my god, you have it.
When I tell, these like, it makes me so happy, because now I have makeup that, it's weird that I made it, but it's makeup that I actually have the versatility now to do anything. Like I say that this is the palette that I like use for the stage, but also to go to the bank the next day and deposit my tips. Like it is fantastic in terms of everything I need. The lips are so, all I can say is I got the best review ever, because somebody literally said they sucked dick with my lipstick on and it did not budge. And I was like, that is a product that I want to stand by. Okay. Yes. But yeah,
I mean that's how you know it's good.
Good advertising.
hey, you know.
Are there
maybe
any?
She's born with it. Maybe it's Mintty Makeup.
That's right. Are there any new products coming out that we can look forward to?
So a lot has happened in the past 2 weeks for Mintty Makeup in a very positive way. Very, very positive way. I can't say anything yet, but if everything goes according to plan, Mintty Makeup will be in places that I never imagined it could be, being sold in stores I never imagined it could be sold in. And so, yeah, it's like we had a few different things in the works that have had to slow down a little bit, because now we're like juggling more things. But I can guarantee you new palettes coming by summer at the latest. And I have 2 very exciting palettes that I'm very, very excited about, because it's the things everybody's been asking for. It's been like, so yes, things are coming, but my grip on the mic even changed.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. Oh my God. Always
Ooh.
looking for new products. And your stuff's so good. So
Thank you.
let me
I'm at the
transition.
work.
Let me transition real quick. And
Oh, I know about transition.
I was
honey.
like,
you know what? That's our transition. I watched The Matrix for the first time on Saturday. It was really good.
Really?
Yeah.
it's a trans allegory. Thank you.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Mm.
Somewhat.
No, it
Yeah.
is.
I was
Because
listening,
also,
But
did you
they
know
weren't
that
out yet, though.
Keanu Reeves said that he didn't know it was a trans allegory, but when somebody told him, he was like, "Oh yeah, that's dope." And I was like, "This is why I fucks with you, Keanu."
Mhm.
That's right.
Apparently the characters, I think Switch was supposed to be played by a cis man in the real world, and then as a woman in the Matrix, which I thought was
Yeah.
really cool. No, I listened to this podcast called the Bechdel Cast.
Ooh.
And I love it. They just review movies through like intersectional feminist lens, using Bechdel test as like a jumping off point. And they had a trans writer as their guest for the Matrix, and it was really good to like listen to, because the Wachowskis like didn't intend for the Matrix to be completely trans allegory, but
No,
like
I know.
after they like transitioned, they're like, I'm glad it's there and was present, but it's like,
I think it was like unconscious, kind of.
yeah.
I mean, both of them came out as trans after.
Yeah.
It was subconscious.
Yeah.
There's something going on.
But yeah, I'm glad those metaphors are there and everything. It's really good. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Have you ever seen Alien?
No, I haven't.
Oh, so good. So good.
I've always wanted to. I don't know. I've been trying to like catch up on like movies I missed out on.
It's so good. It's one of those movies that like when you hear about the behind the scenes, it makes sense why it's so good, because like the whole cast, they cast all the people who'd be in it, but they didn't cast them in roles until they like hit rehearsals. So like Sigourney Weaver being Ripley as the lead was never set in stone. They like literally they saw her and was like, yes, you need to be the lead out of these pack.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, one of the characters in it is trans, because they show you in the beginning a bunch of their files pulled up, and one of them on the plane, like on the screen for plain to see and like is visible, is like it tells you in her medical records that she's had a gender reassignment surgery. And you're literally sitting up there like, hold up, wait a minute, because the whole thing is also an allegory for sex. Like one of the robots is full of like this weird milky substance that looks like cum/milk. Like the alien serpents look like dicks. Like they look like lubed up.
Yeah.
And then the little tails, and then the mouth that comes out in the mouth, like double head. It's good.
I heard the sequel, that like the queen alien is like pure just vagina. Which, like, icon.
Oh, fully. It's giving Georgia O'Keeffe realness.
Yes. I'm trying to think what else I watched recently. I just ordered something. I don't know. I've been on like a movie binge lately, but
yes.
But do you watch HBO at all?
Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite book got turned into a series, and I've been really enjoying that. And it's slightly queer, not overly queer, which is like a little disappointing. But it's like it's a post-pandemic world, but it's like an optimistic take on it. And it's like,
what's the name of it?
Station 11.
Do you know Paris Hilton Knowles?
Paris Hilton or
So there's a drag performer named Paris Hilton Knowles, and they just told me recently about Station 11 and said that because I'm a sci-fi hoe, like I've seen just about everything sci-fi related, and they were like, I think that you would really love this. And so it's queer-ish.
It's I think the main actress is a lesbian. There's like queer romances, but like it's nothing very like explicitly like they're just sort of like queer people in their lives, kind of. It's not like a queer story per se.
Work.
Yeah, but
Wow.
yeah, I
We
really
love
enjoy
that.
it. It's very-
Work. I'm gonna watch it. Hell yes. 'Cause anything science fiction, anything.
Mhm.
I'm like,
I'm such are you a Star Trek fan or a Star Wars fan?
are you serious? Are you serious? Is that a question? Me with 2 Star Trek posters up in my room.
Oh, I can't see them.
Oh my god. There's one for oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is okay. I'm gonna try to lift you to take you. Okay, here we go. We're moving, we're venturing. This one is for Risa.
Oh, love.
Can you see it?
Yeah. Oh my
That's for
God.
Risa. And then that's my glitter poster. 'Cause
Yes,
I'm a lame.
glitter.
And then, do you remember the episode of Deep Space Nine where it's like in the 1950s and when like Cisco is an author and they're talking about race and stuff, and he writes a book about Cisco in the future?
Mhm. Vaguely,
That's the
yeah.
cover. That's the
Oh.
cover of the novel from that episode. It's my
Love.
favorite episode of Star Trek.
Oh my
I
God.
I fucks with some Star Trek. Oh my God! Don't get me started. It is my everything. I can't wait. I'm about to get 2 Star Trek tattoos soon.
Yes. I just started getting into the original series. My friend got me into it, and the animated series for some reason, like the very old one
From the 70s. You better
Yeah.
watch. And do you all like Rick and Morty by chance?
Yeah, I watch it.
If you like Rick and Morty, there is a Star Trek animated series that is out right now called Lower Decks. And one of the creators of Rick and Morty created this one because he's a
shit.
Trekkie. And it is one of the best Star Trek series, like out of all of them ever created, because it follows the people in the lower decks of the ship. So like not the commanding part. So the people who are like changing out the like trash and doing all the small stuff and actually showing you like everyday life. And it's so fucking good. And the lead is a Black woman.
Love. Yeah. Oh
But
my
yeah, I could talk Star Trek all day.
I know. I've been watching Book of Boba Fett, and I'm a Star Wars girl.
Oh, I respect Star Wars. I will say I do respect.
Mhm. I definitely think Star Trek is more boundary breaking than Star Wars will ever be, but different conversation. We'll be right back, kids. Before we're gonna talk to Junior about creating her own living color drag show, and I'm really excited to talk about that. We'll be right back, kids. Bye. And that is the conclusion of part 1 of our interview with Miss Junior Mintt. Like I said, it was such a joy to have her. I'm plugging her socials right now, and you can follow her at Junior Mintt with 2 T's on Instagram, as well as Junior Mintt with 2 T's on Venmo and Cash App. You should follow Mintty Makeup, again with 2 T's on Instagram at minty.makeup. And also follow In Living Color BK on Instagram. Miss Junior's lovely drag collective show. And then next week, we're going to get more into her career as it's been, her political activism. And the end of the episode is honestly a real tearjerker. I know I was emotional hearing it. It was very, very special. So I'm very excited for you guys to hear it and to hear the joy that is Junior Mintt next week. So tune in, tune out. Bye, kids. We'll see you next week.
I'm C. Tepper. You can follow me on Instagram at CTEPPER and read my book, The State of Drag, where I interviewed 175 drag queens from around the world. All proceeds go to charity on Amazon.com.
Ooh, I love that. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Drag the Martyr. And if you have any thoughts, comments, dick pics, send them to dragthemartyr@gmail.com.
Listen, rate, and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Pandora.
And catch up with past episodes on WERRRK.com. That's WERRRK.com. Artwork for Wigging Out was provided by Glitter Baby Online. That's Glitter Baby Online. Thank you.